He took his to the point that I was like, holy shit. Again, the misogynistic, the man is in charge. He told me that he would pay his daughters X amount. Like, it was fucking ridiculous. Like, pretty much like $20,000 he would pay his daughters to not get married and have children while they're at uni, but they would only get the money after they finished the degree, and if they got married or had children during the degree, they were not getting the money.
Wow.
And I remember listening to that and just coming out and just bawling my eyes out, because everything that I had brainwashed into me was like,
you're just like, wrong. Shit, now I gotta go to school again?
Yeah, you pretty much just shit all over my dreams, and I was like, thanks, mate. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I got married like halfway through uni.
Yeah.
And like, I'm so mad that I did, because now like my degree has my married name on it, and it actually costs money to go and like get that changed. Like,
a lot of money?
I don't know. It's like $150 to get it like reprinted with my maiden name on it.
That's like a week's of groceries.
Yeah, it's annoying. It's a pain in the ass. And, you know, like also getting married during like a uni break, yeah, like it was kind of, you know, finishing off exams and then getting all this last minute shit like sorted. It was such a stressful time. And like, yeah, and it was, you know, and when you'd tell people, like when I would tell people that I was engaged or like after getting married that I had a husband, like it was so strange for me to refer to, to my husband as my husband, because, like the kind of looks you get from people when they're just like, did you say husband?
Like, a bitch, how old are you? Like 6?
Yeah. Like, it was weird. But, like, in the church, it's kind of, you know.
normalized.
Yeah. I mean, I think still in the church, it's like, you know, it was still a bit weird, but it was much more accepted. Like, I didn't really have many people coming to me being like, you fucking insane. Like,
and he was an arm. See, I got all of those people. Is she fucking insane? What's she doing?
Yeah.
But nobody would be game enough to say it to your face, because again, or like the toxic culture of the Relief Society and the Mormon population in general is to gossip and all this shit. It's honestly, it's quite disgusting, and I'm glad I left. It was taking quite a large toll on my mental health.
Yeah.
Having all that. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's pretty nuts. Like I think the other thing as well, like just kind of circling back to the whole career stuff too, like I went to uni and you know, I did well, because like the thing is I did pretty well in school, so it was kind of expected that I would go on to do uni, but my idea of university wasn't so much about like getting a really high paying job or anything, because it was kind of like, well, I'm going to marry somebody who will be providing for me, so I will just go and study something that I have a personal interest in, which happened to be
Save the tigers.
Yeah.
I
like
remember that.
Literally when I started uni, all I wanted to do was work with tigers. I was like, I'm going to be a tiger like conservationist because I love tigers.
Tiger king.
I was literally fucking what's her face? I was Carol Baskin. That was me. I just wanted to play with big cats, and that's all I cared about. And then I went through uni and I actually learned about some of Australia's really cool animals and stuff, and I got more interested in it. But by the time I finished uni, like my husband, he was going to study and I needed a job, and it was really hard. Like I couldn't, because I hadn't been trying that hard at uni to make sure I was employable. I couldn't get a job straight out of uni. There's not a lot of wildlife jobs that you can just walk into. A lot of the time you need to be doing a lot of volunteering and stuff. And so I ended up, after finishing, doing like a traineeship in land, conservation and land management. And then I got like a job in bush regen stuff. And that wasn't really what I wanted to do. That had nothing to do with wildlife really. But then, you know, I ended up settling into that role because, it was consistent and it was good at the time. Like, and really my whole goal at that point was to save up enough money to buy a house so that we could start having kids. And, you know, my idea was that, you know, I don't really need to go and pursue like a grand career because that's something that my husband is going to kind of take care of. I'm just like working now so that we can save up this money to get a house. And then at some point, once I have kids, like it won't really matter so much anymore what I'm doing for work. And so I think since leaving the church, my whole like career aspirations have changed, and I'm just like, well, now I've got to support myself now. And I like nice things, and I have a dog to look after. Like,
got that expensive taste.
Yeah, I want to be able to live comfortably and be able to provide for myself, and I do want to have a career that I feel is like fulfilling, but is also like, you know, going to sustain me. And I feel like it's taken me so much longer to get into the kind of position that I'm in now. Like this, like I've just started a new job and it's good. Like it's more of a professional kind of role, and it's definitely more so what I want to be doing. But you know, I could have had that sooner, I think, if I had just like had that goal in mind. And yeah. And so I feel like, you know, I wasted a lot of time, you know, in my whole career progression because I was so focused on just, you know, just saving up money, like enough money to buy a house, and then I can kind of give up a little bit on the whole career thing. Like,
yeah, that's been a really hard transition for me as well, kind of going from this idea that I was going to be a stay-at-home mom and all of this stuff, and now I'm in a relationship with someone who, you know, didn't grow up in the church. He came from a single mother household, and so he kind of has kind of opposite, like, you know, women are able to go to work. It's been great because he is very feminist, like, you want a job, like, go get a job, like, fuck he stays home and watches the kid while I'm at work. But that has been so difficult for me to kind of get out of the headspace that I'm only like, my only value is as a stay-at-home mom, and trying to kind of figure out the balance between, I guess, like, giving up who I am to raise this child and being like, actually, you know what, like, I'm allowed to have this thing for myself, and I'm allowed to have an identity outside of being a mother. And that has been a really difficult transition for me. And now I'm kind of starting to kind of think about, oh, maybe I do want to quit, because ever since rejoining the workforce, I love working. To my child, if you are listening, I love you so much, darling. You're amazing. But holy shit, I love going to work. Like those like 9 hours a fortnight I get at work with adult conversation, and like, it is just, I feel like it gives me the ability to be a better mother because I am not 100% head underwater with this whole mother role. I'm able to kind of come up for a breath of fresh air. I'm able to come in early and have, I'm able to like drink my coffee before it goes cold and eat food without tiny fingers being in it. And I love working, but that is like something that as a Mormon or as a woman in the Mormon church, you're kind of taught to look down on women that have children and jobs. It's kind of like, oh, she's got a job. Like, she's not a good mother if she's working and has kids. Like,
because in the church,
only respectable job as a Mormon woman is an MLM. doTERRA. What's another one? Sensi. That's the only respectable job.
Pretty much. It's like only stuff that you can do from home because you have to be at home with your children.
Oh, yes, definitely. But yeah, that's been something that's been really difficult for me to kind of get out of the mindset. Yeah. And kind of realizing that I'm allowed to be a human. Yes. Instead of only focusing on being a mother.
Well, I remember like growing up with you, and you absolutely wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. Like, that was your dream.
Brother Hyrum is in the room with us. He just gave me a fantastic look.
like I remember that was like your biggest thing. Like that's what you wanted.
I just didn't want to like do anything.
And I like, yeah. And now like seeing you kind of experience motherhood like firsthand, and you're just like, don't ever have children.
Again, darling, if you are listening to this, I love you so much.
It's
but
nothing like, I think I listened to this this audiobook not too long ago. I think it was called, what was it called? I think I recommended it to you. It was like,
I still haven't listened to it. Sorry, I've been reading fairy porn.
Fuck, I forget the name of it. If I remember, maybe we can like plug it on the socials. But it was basically, I think it's called like Regretting Motherhood. And it was a really insightful kind of look at yeah, like it was basically this lady had done a study on women who said that they regretted becoming mothers. And look, it is nothing to do with the children. Like these women's they made it very clear that like their children were lovely. Like it's nothing to do with the children. There's nothing wrong with the kids. It's the fact that like motherhood is this idolized role, and like, and in the world and definitely in the church, it's sort of like, you know, it's something that you have to love and give your entire life to. Like to complain about being a mum or to say that you regret becoming a mother, like, is such a, you know, radical
People's
idea,
heads
and
explode.
And they're just like, you must be a horrible person. And you're just like, look, it's not that I hate my kids. It's that I just don't like being in this role. Like,
exactly.
Because it's, you know, it takes over your entire life.
Yeah. And that's not really something to ever discuss as, or in the Relief Society, which I kind of wish they had have touched on more, is the fact that, like, yes, you, like, I love my kid. I would fucking take a bullet for her. Like, I think she's the coolest person ever, but I think I was not built for the motherhood role. And there was nobody there at church or in my life to kind of be like, sit me down and be like, hey, look, I know that this is something that's really pressured in this world, and
you don't
especially
have
in the
to
church.
do it.
Exactly. And I wish someone had let me know that not having kids was an option.
Okay.
And that, you know, it was okay to decide to not have kids, but instead it was this whole glamorized, you must have children.
Because I think what happens is, like, the women just kind of accept it as a truth. They're just like, well, look, like, yes, some days are hard, but it is what it is. Like, this is what God requires. I'm just going to suck it up and do it, and I will try to find joy in it. And like, and that's the kind of, you know, perspective that they have. There's no discussion about, like, you know, maybe you shouldn't have children. Like, if you don't think that you would enjoy it, or that it would be, you know, something that you want to do, maybe you just shouldn't do it. Like, that's never a discussion that's had at church.
And they never discuss
expectation that you will have kids, because I'm pretty sure, like, you need to have children to get to the celestial kingdom or whatever.
One of the first commandments that God gave Adam and Eve was to reproduce and plenish the earth. And they say
that law is still in place today. And I'm like, the world is overpopulated.
Yeah. And it's like, they don't even think about the quality of life for the children in that situation. It's just like, you need to have so many kids. But then it's like, but, like, what about the quality of life for the children? Like, we need to think about that as well, because we cannot be irresponsibly bringing down these children from heaven and just kind of popping them out, because that's what God told us to do. I think God would want us to be very mindful about the children that we do bring into this world.
And I think that also brings up, like, the whole, you know, abortion argument with the church as well. Like, the church is absolutely against abortion. I think it will allow it in cases where, like, the mother's life might be put at risk or whatever, but
or if there's like a severe deformity or disability.
Yeah. But, like, otherwise it's like, no, you have to have the child. So like, if you think that you're not financially able to support a child, doesn't fucking matter. Like,
there's been prophets that say, like, as soon as you get married, you need to have children, because that is your
it's your ticket to heaven.
Yep. Gotta have kids. And to make you better.
Yeah. And like, and the whole like the Lord qualifies who he calls or whatever, like also kind of apply.
Can he qualify me? Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
my God. I need some help
They
here.
use that for motherhood as well, because like, you know, these young women are just like, geez, I don't know if I could like handle being a mother. And like the other Relief Society sisters would be like, no. God will teach you how. Like, it's your divine calling. It'll just instinctively come to you. Don't even worry about it.
Disclaimer, it does not.
Yeah, there's so much to learn.
Oh, God. And they don't fully prepare you either. It's just the menial, like, things that don't even matter. Like, I don't think I've touched an iron in 3 years.
Yeah.
And, like,